Okay, here we go. In the bottom left, we have Wallace playing on an account called Wallace. We just had a replay of him on an account called Mr. Cell, but apparently he changed his name back out of shame. And in the top right, we have msrm. #1 Infernal World in my heart. And if they reset the ladder, probably on the ladder, but they haven't reset it. But if they did reset it, I would wager that this guy right here would be #1. Not just for Infernals, but on the leaderboard. Wallace has, okay, because in the last game he just didn't use Surge at the start of the game. He has discovered the Surge tech and is diligently, proficiently, like the top player he is, surging Argents across the map. msrm with the fast Iron Vault into the fast Conclave, one guy on Therium, so he has every intention of building the gaunts, and he turns around with the Imp. The Imp would have gone down and built himself a nice little natural shrine, but because he saw an Argent there, he knows what's up. Argent's in his future. He sends his injured Imp through his Illuminate line, so if the Argents got a bit too spicy, he would have attacked with his worker line. Does lose an Imp here, but we'll see if we can punish this. We don't quite have the Therium, very unfortunately, to make the gaunts and start focus firing down this one Argent. First Gremlin comes out and gets bonked. Wallace has turned off the power shots. And here comes the Gaunt Brute Surround. Pulls away the injured Gaunts, and the Argents say, "Smell you later, I am out of here." Here comes another Iron Vault. And yes, actually this reminds me, this is msrm's secret tech against Celestials. I think I know where this is going, but with msrm you can never be sure. And Wallace actually getting a second chamber up. And I've actually experienced this exact setup several times, and in my experience, doing this is never the answer. One chamber array is goated, everything else is cringe. So here we go, we got Morph Cores and a sea of Argents trickling in. Focus fires one of those gaunts down. Mr. Remember does have another production structure about to finish. Morph Cores, Jellyfish coming in. And Mr. M kiting back with his gaunts. Unfortunately, he spawned those gaunts on top of the Argents there, but one gets away. Jellyfish going down. Remember, these things do cost 100 resources. They're not free. So losing 200 resources for the price of, I think he got a gaunt. It's pretty damn good for the Infernal player. Also remember that the Infernal player is technically ahead here. He has got 2 workers mining Therium, whereas Celestials has no workers mining Therium. Otherwise, they're just on one base, saturated Luminite. But Infernal's pulling ahead economically. We have 2 Jellyfish here. We're not sure what they're about to do. We're surging the Arc ship. Get some heals. Now we see what happens here. The Stormgate is very conveniently placed by all of the Argents who are just sat there. It looks like Wallace is thinking about going and taking it. Of course, when he does that, he can expect some units to start chopping up his chamber, or even going down further.
Has appeared.
And see, msrm timed that so that if the Argents go for the Stormgate, we can see that happening. And he's going to take a chamber for the Stormgate, so at least something. Remember, that Stormgate could have been spawned down here and then be completely irrelevant, but it just so happened that it spawned behind all of the Argents, so it's pretty safe and easy for Wallace to take that. He does lose the chamber for it, and it is a 1-base situation, so that's not nothing. Losing 150. msrm says 3 relics, because he says the Creeping Horror is pretty damn good too, so you shouldn't be too disappointed. But Wallace wanted the Faerun, which honestly isn't that crazy good with the Argent Ball. It's still very good, now don't get me wrong, but it's not like having it with Vulcans or Argents, sorry, not Argents, Brutes. It's not good with Argents, guys. It's not like having it with Argents. That would be very different. But here comes the Argent Jellyfish Creeping Horror combination up against a lot of Brutes. And if there's one thing you guys should have learned by now, it's that Brutes are pretty good. So as dire as you might think the situation is, just remember that Brutes are pretty good. The Creeping Horror is slowing down all of the brutes, so they're struggling to get to and from their destinations. The power bank went down there, that was from a Morph Core. They got low on health. And here is the secret source that msrm has been waiting for. He has got the brute charge upgrade on its way. And he's biding his time, waiting for that to finish. This Wallace character probably thinks, I'm having a good time, I'm gonna win this, but there's a brute surprise coming in like 3 seconds. 2, 3. Big brute charge coming in. They do come in, they start chopping up the Wallace. The Creeping Horror escapes. Wallace manages to get him to the back there very nicely. Effigy goes down. The Creeping Horror only has that every 20 seconds or so he doesn't get to run away indefinitely. And now chasing down the Argents. Looks like we have run out of Effigy energy, so there's no more Infest from these Gaunts, which is a shame because there's a lot of Argents going down here. If all of these had turned into Fiends, we'd be in a very happy place right now. Wallace, remember, is still just on that 1 base economy, so what you see is what you get here, for the most part. The damn jellyfish are still causing trouble. They can be kited, it's just very tiresome, very laborious. Constantly kiting these jellyfish. Wallace coming in for round 2, here come the big surround. msrm tries to wrap around with the brutes, get some free Argents, basically, like these trades are very good. For the brutes Enjoyer. And we're bruting up a storm. Just a shame we can't get Infest
a Stormgame will activate soon.
on any of these units, but you can see here, and especially when the charge comes in, that's like minus a couple of Argents every time. Do you have a Morph Core hanging around here? msrm says get out of here. Brutes and Gaunts coming in.
A Stormgate has appeared.
Both players refusing entirely to expand and take this game past this, back and forward. Argents coming in with Morph Cores, Argents leaving without Morph Cores. Infernal player retreating. Keep in mind that these 3 injured brutes could be getting some free healing by just being on the Shroud right now. msrm says, heck that, I'm just going to get some free healing in the free healing circle over here called the Wellspring. Argents turn around here for some reason and engage the brutes. msrm's Gaunts got stuck on a jellyfish, but now that jellyfish will be turned into a phantom, and we finally have an Effigy, so we can finally put down some Infest onto these units, but unfortunately the Effigy gets sniped down. The Argents are on their way to that Stormgate. Not sure if they'll have the damage in the time to take it out. This one of course has 3,000 health. The first one had only 1,000 health. Wallace once again refusing to take this any further. It's just sat on his 1 base Argent producing machine. It looks like he will be able to take the Stormgate with a bit of time left on it. msrm sending 2 brutes across the map saying, aha, I'm going to attack your array, but there is no array. In about 4 minutes, both players will have run out of main Illuminate. We do see an Argent, but we choose to ignore him. We have 5 movement speed on the brute, 5.5 on the Argent, but we do have the speed from the charge, obviously. Charge will come in soon. What did we get here? We got the unstable Necrolusks, which of course are just Banelings in disguise. If the brutes charge in on that, then they will go downtown. I'm afraid they will all die. The explosion here, 200 damage. 100 extra for structures, but 200 damage is what they represent for the brutes, which is just 5 damage more than the total health of a brute. Of course, brutes do have some armor, 5, so actually will be able to tank. From full health, they will be able to tank the Necrolusks. So we'll see if msrm can see and respond to the damn Necrolusks here. msrm actually going into Hellborn instead of... oh, he's chopping up the Necrolusks who just explode. Necrolusks coming in hot there. Wallace sees an opportunity. Jumps on one Hellborn, which is a shame. If there were two Hellborn hitting here, we'd feel so much better. We do have Argents with Infest on them, turning into Phantoms each time they die. And it looks like this higher, yep, it goes down, but another one pops up just in time. He's got some some Gremlins
Dimensional rift detected.
tanking up,
A Stormgate will activate soon.
blocking the Argents a bit. And the Argents are going down to this constant Hellborn production. One Brute coming in as well. The Hellborn are being shot down nicely. There are 4 Jellyfish being very annoying here. But msrm managing to get 9 workers up on his natural. He's actually mining up a storm right now.
Appeared.
Jellyfish getting obliterated by some Gaunts. Still have to micro them back a little bit. msrm saying, heck you, killing my natural mining there. Very unfortunate. It does turn some of these Argents very nicely into Phantoms. One more Hellborn comes out. There's one Jellyfish causing trouble. Infest got down on one of those Argents, so it became a Phantom. We've got Gremlins coming in as well. Brutes with the stun will deny some damage from the Argents. Maybe the Hellborn lives. Maybe. Nope, just barely dies. The Imps are now long distance mining, and we've mined out in the main, so now we've just got like 21 Imps mining. Wallace has also mined out entirely, so he's got 2 Argents left there. He's got 175 resources left. And that's about it. He needs to lift his main array because he's simply not going to be able to produce anything after these Argents. Wallace trying to do a run by with these Argents now, but I'm not sure why. msrm getting a reasonable amount of economy up off of the back of these 21 long distance mining Imps. And here he comes. The last Argent attempts to get to the healing station. Gets chopped down. No, I lied. This is the last Argent. The array has realized that he can go to another location. Gremlins are trying to take out these random power banks that are in the base. And we do rebuild the shrine. msrm kind of understanding that his opponent doesn't really have any units. So what can he do if we build a shrine here? Nothing. He's waiting. He's waiting with the Brutes for the array to drop. Now you can block this array if you awkwardly micro, but it is quite awkward, and this can land. We'll chop it up too. Sovereign's Watch is available, remember, so that's a bit of an issue. We'll have to back away from that. Brutes getting their stun in. There's still one Morph Core trying to tickle these Imps, but not really getting anything done. They do 2 damage to those Imps ever since the Imps lost their light tag. And actually the Morph Core seems to have just given up on life and has stopped attacking for some reason. He's just stopped attacking altogether. I'm not sure what's going on there. Sovereign's Watch is cast. msrm says, oh, it's about to run out even. msrm says, fine. I guess I'll just start chopping up your array. Effigy goes down. The Brute will benefit from this, but most importantly the armor debuff is there, so minus 38 armor on the 15 armored array. Fiend's chasing down the injured Argents. Brute's chopping down the last and only array. Gremlin's taking out these power banks at last since the Morph Core gave up on life. 2 Fiends did go down to that Argent, but we're just going to click on... No, we're going to turn around and start chopping up Argents. Brute streaming across the map. The Celestial player left on... still has his 2 chambers, but yeah, just not having any mining for a good couple of minutes there. Whereas msrm was able to scrape together some forces with 21 long distance mining Imps. And able to clutch the game with just a couple of Brutes and a Dream. There it is, quite the spicy one. But it was the secret msrm source, which is to be on one base for a ridiculously long time, get up the Brutes upgrade, shoo away the Argents that have been sat in his natural for the last 10 minutes, and then playing from there, just nicely playing from there. Some very clutch moments in the main there with the Hellborn and the Gaunts and the Jellyfish and the Power Banks and Morph Cores. Lots of things going on, even if it was just a bit of a meme. Everyone on one base for the longest time until the main mine's out. That's when you're forced to take a natural. So you can see there that the time that the game developers decide that the main mine's out, that can dictate the entire matchup, because people will refuse to expand until they have to. And there it is. GG's to both msrm and Wallace, providing a very fun, cheeky game there. And that's all for me. Like and subscribe, guys, and I'll see you next time.